Hi guys, here I am again on my couch. I'm still feeling pretty exhausted and tired. Today especially I had a very hard time waking up, and it took me till about 2 p.m. to actually fully be awake. My body is just exhausted, and it's very hard to function, and it gets very frustrating. But I realized this past week that I'm holding a lot of anger towards myself, my body, my current medical situation, and I need to let go of that because it's affecting my life and it's affecting the way I interact with others. I did something horrible, and last week I was invited to go out with friends, and I couldn't go. And the email I took, like, the way it was worded, I took it completely the wrong way, and I ended up lashing out on a dear friend of mine and hurt her feelings. And she didn't deserve it. It was really wrong of me. And, I've apologized and all of that, but it still doesn't make up for the fact that I lashed out on her. And I need to let go of that anger. I really need to let go of it and just make the best of what I have now, because this is as good as it's going to get for the moment. There is hope that it may get a little better, but in all reality, I am going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. It may not be 100% of the time, or like it is now, but I'm always going to need to use one at some point. I'm hoping it'll get to the point where it used to be, where I can still walk for some short distances, like into a restaurant, or running into the drugstore, and like for longer things like the supermarket, I'll need to be in the chair. That's my goal for now. It's a small goal, but I mean that's what I'm working towards. And I just need to, maybe plan more things plan more things with my group of friends that are easier for me to do. And I just need to take control and not be so angry. And I got this book. I used to practice a lot of Buddhist meditations and stuff like that. And I read a lot of books by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I think he is a very, very great inspiration. And this book is called Healing Anger. Here's a picture of it. And there's the Dalai Lama right there. He just looks like a really friendly man. I would love to sit down and talk with him. So I'm starting to read that, and I actually want to read a little paragraph from it. This is how the book opens up, and it talks about, this is the translator's introduction, and it starts out like this. A popular story which Tibetan teachers are fond of telling their students narrates an encounter between a hermit and a herdsman. The hermit was living alone in the mountains. One day a herdsman happened to pass by his cave. Intrigued, the herdsman shouted at the hermit and said, "What are you doing alone in the middle of nowhere?" The hermit replied, "I am meditating." "What are you meditating on?" asked the herdsman. "On patience," said the hermit. There was a moment of silence. After a while, the herdsman decided to leave. Just as he turned to go, he looked back at the hermit and shouted, "By the way, you go to hell." "What do you mean, you go to hell?" came flying back. The herdsman laughed and reminded the hermit that he was supposed to be practicing patience. And I really like that, because it's true. If you really put your mind to it, you really need to actively practice patience. And that goes for yourself, because you can only do as much as you can. And as long as you're trying your best, why should you be angry? You're doing what you can do. I've been doing a lot of, this still kind of goes along with it, but actually, let me back up. So what I decided to do was finally, kind of take things by the reins, and I called my genetic counselor and talked to her about my MRIs, and how they've all come back clinically normal, but that I have a degree in brain science. So I know the brain, I know the anatomy, and I explained to her that I noticed a couple of anomalies that in a person without Ehlers-Danlos or any type of tissue fragility or collagen problem, um, these people that don't have these issues, these anomalies aren't clinically significant. They may not have any symptoms or anything like that, but for somebody with EDS or tissue fragility, etc., these can be significant and cause significant symptoms. And she agreed. So she's going to talk to my geneticist and get some suggestions of some people to go talk to and see about that. Um, so that's one way I'm kind of taking things into my own hands. And I've talked about this before. It is so important to be your own advocate, because nobody else, if you can't stand up for yourself, who's going to? Yes, you have family, but ultimately it has to be you. You're the only person that knows your own body. So be your own advocate. And I'm taking my own advice, and that's what I'm doing. Um, I'm also like, knitting has really helped me therapeutically, as far as my hands go, like a physical therapy for my hands, but also emotionally and mentally. It calms me down. I like the repetition and the patterns and the counting. It really kind of focuses my energy somewhere else. So this past week I finished 2 different projects out of this beautiful eggplant colored cashmere yarn. And this is the hat. I don't know if you can see it. It might be a little too dark. It's a little too big for me, but it's just a cute little beret. And I made these hand warmers. See, there it is. I don't know if you can see the detailing. It might be a little too dark because of my lighting. But they go on just like this. And they keep my hands warm. These are a little bit too big too. But I finished those, and now I'm going to be working on a pair of slipper socks for my boyfriend. And I've been going to a weekly knitting group that meets weekly, and it's so much fun. The people there are fantastic, and it gets me out of the house. And people offer me rides, which I'm so grateful for. I really am. Because this really is the only time I actually get to go out of the house and get into the living, so to speak, and get dressed into clothes instead of being in pajamas all the time. Not that pajamas are bad. I love pajamas. Right now I'm in Neil's really warm flannel jacket, because I'm really cold. But oh, here's some. Now the lighting's a little bit better. Maybe you can see this better now. Well, maybe not. Oh well. I'll be posting pictures soon on my website, or my blog rather. I just need to get the pictures taken. I guess that's about it. I'm starting to get tired. Well, I already was tired, but a little bit winded. So, oh, I don't know if I mentioned, I had my wheelchair evaluation. I think I mentioned that, and it went really well. But the impact of actually having a powered wheelchair, and that kind of started the whole anger thing blowing out of proportion. It just really hit me that this is my life. But I still have a lot of other things that I can do, and I need to be focusing on that. So I guess that's about it. A little shout out to Maria. Hi, you're such an inspiration. And just listening to you talk and seeing you talk, like, you've really given me the fire that I need to stay upbeat. And I'm running out of minutes, running out of time, so that's it. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.